Do you feel that your conversations don't always flow as you'd like? Or that sometimes small conflicts end up undermining harmony in both personal and professional relationships? In this video, we're going to explore how 5 Stoic habits can transform the way you communicate and strengthen the bonds with those around you. Stoic philosophy, based on self-control, resilience, and acceptance, offers a practical and powerful approach to improving our interactions. Imagine being able to better understand emotions, react more calmly, and create deeper, more sincere connections. This is precisely what these Stoic habits promise to bring to your life. In this video, you'll discover how small changes can have a big impact, from learning to listen without judgment to communicating with greater clarity and intention. By the end, you'll be better equipped to avoid emotional wear, strengthen your relationships, and find more satisfaction in your interactions. If you want to understand how these techniques can bring a profound transformation to your communication and relationships, watch until the end. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content on personal development and effective communication. Before diving into the 5 habits, it's essential to understand what Stoic philosophy is and why it can be so relevant to our lives today. Stoicism is a school of thought that originated in ancient Greece, with its primary goal being to help people achieve peace of mind and resilience, even in the face of challenging situations. The Stoics believed that our happiness and tranquility depend more on how we react to the world than on circumstances themselves. In other words, it's less about what happens and more about how we choose to respond. For modern professionals, this perspective is especially valuable. The workplace can be filled with pressures, expectations, and conflicts, which are often reflected in our relationships and mental health. Many end up feeling overwhelmed, not knowing how to react to so many demands, which results in burnout and a loss of personal satisfaction. Stoicism offers an alternative. It teaches us to control what we can and accept what's beyond our reach, thereby reducing emotional strain and helping us face challenges with greater balance. By adopting these 5 Stoic habits, you can improve your communication and create stronger, healthier relationships, both at work and at home. Each of these habits is designed to be practical and applicable in daily life, allowing you to enhance the way you relate to others while also protecting yourself from emotional exhaustion. With that in mind, let's start with the first habit: attentive and non-judgmental listening. Habit number 1: attentive and non-judgmental listening. One of the most transformative practices Stoicism teaches us is attentive and non-judgmental listening. In a world where we're constantly distracted and pressured to express ourselves, many end up listening only to respond rather than to understand. However, this behavior can lead to misunderstandings and distance in relationships. The Stoics believed that listening is more than just catching the other person's words. It's an exercise in presence and empathy. They understood that by listening attentively, we develop a genuine connection and learn much about others and ourselves. Active listening is a commitment to being present and setting aside judgments. This means putting aside preconceptions and not rushing to form responses while the other person speaks. Imagine a situation where a colleague brings up a critique about a project you led. Your immediate reaction might be to defend yourself or justify your work, but by applying active listening, you focus solely on understanding the other person's perspective, without interpreting it as an attack. In doing so, you gain a clearer and more useful insight that could help improve the work rather than create tension. There are several practices that can help develop this skill in everyday life. First, avoid distractions. During an important conversation, turn off your phone or move away from your desk to prevent interruptions. Being fully present during listening shows respect, and increases the chances that the other person will feel valued and understood. Another technique is to ask open-ended questions, which shows interest in the other person's point of view and helps deepen the dialogue. Additionally, practice rephrasing what was said to ensure you really understood the message. For example, after listening to your colleague's feedback, you might respond, "So, what you're saying is that you think our approval process could be faster, right?" This type of response confirms your attention and opens space for clarification if needed, strengthening communication. In Stoicism, non-judgmental listening also involves patience. The idea is to allow the other person to fully express themselves before reacting. Often the speaker needs time to organize their thoughts or get to the main point. By interrupting or responding impulsively, we miss opportunities to understand the other on a deeper level. In relationships, this patience prevents unnecessary conflicts and builds a mutual trust environment. Finally, attentive and non-judgmental listening also contributes to our own personal development. It helps us reduce the tendency to react defensively, allowing us to cultivate emotional resilience. The Stoics teach us that by listening genuinely, we learn to separate what others say from what we truly feel about ourselves, preventing emotions from directly affecting our perception of reality. Adopting attentive listening as a daily practice can transform how we relate to colleagues, friends, and family, creating more harmonious and meaningful interactions. This habit builds a solid foundation of respect and understanding that over time strengthens bonds and helps us resolve challenges with greater clarity and empathy. With this in mind, let's move on to the next Stoic habit, which also contributes to a foundation of healthy relationships: control of emotions in conflict situations. Habit number 2, control of emotions in conflict situations. In any relationship, moments of conflict are inevitable. In the professional environment especially, we are often exposed to pressures and disagreements that can quickly trigger intense emotional reactions. One of Stoicism's main teachings is precisely the importance of controlling emotions in tense situations to avoid impulsive reactions that could harm relationships. The Stoics believed that by giving ourselves time to process our emotions, we can respond more calmly and rationally, preserving harmony in relationships while effectively standing up for our ideas. Imagine receiving negative feedback from a superior on a project you worked hard on. Your initial reaction might be frustration, anger, or even defensiveness, common feelings in moments of criticism. However, by practicing Stoic emotional control, the idea is that you base your response on logic and calm rather than impulse. Instead of responding immediately, you might choose to take a deep breath and reflect before reacting. This moment of pause is crucial as it allows you to process the situation without letting your emotions take over, preventing an unthoughtful response that could create unnecessary friction. One recommended Stoic technique for this type of situation is the 5-second pause. When you encounter a moment of conflict, take a deep breath and mentally count to 5 before responding. This brief interval helps calm the mind, giving you time to evaluate the situation with greater clarity. This practice may seem simple, but its effect is powerful. It prevents intense emotions from dominating the conversation and allows you to choose more careful words, keeping the focus on the discussion's content instead of turning it into an emotional battle. Another useful practice is negative visualization, a common Stoic exercise. Before an important or potentially contentious conversation, envision challenging scenarios and imagine how you could respond with serenity and self-control. For example, if you know you'll need to speak with a colleague who often expresses themselves harshly, mentally anticipate the situation and rehearse a calm and firm response. This exercise prepares your mind to handle the unexpected, reducing the emotional impact when the situation actually occurs. Controlling emotions in moments of conflict also plays a fundamental role in building mutual respect and trust. When someone sees you react with balance, even under pressure, your posture becomes valued and respected. This doesn't mean avoiding expressing your opinions, but rather that your stance will be better received when presented in a thoughtful and rational manner. This habit is especially useful for professionals in leadership positions who often need to mediate conflicts and make decisions under pressure. An important aspect of emotional control, according to the Stoics, is remembering that the other person's response doesn't always reflect something personal. Often, rude or impatient reactions from colleagues or superiors are related to their own stress or challenges they are facing. By understanding this, we can avoid personalizing criticisms and learn to filter what truly matters in the message. This separation between what's ours and what's theirs strengthens our resilience and allows us to maintain a serene stance, even in adverse circumstances. In conclusion, emotional control doesn't mean suppressing what we feel, but cultivating a more conscious and constructive response. The idea is to recognize emotions without letting them govern our actions, practicing self-awareness to transform communication into a more balanced and respectful process. Over time, this habit improves our ability to resolve conflicts clearly and avoids unnecessary strains, preserving mental health and positive relationships. Now that we've seen the value of emotional control, let's move on to the next habit, which naturally connects to this practice, focusing on what is within your control. Habit number 3, focusing on what is within your control. One of Stoicism's core concepts is the idea that we should focus only on what's within our control and learn to accept what isn't. This principle may seem simple, but when applied to everyday life and relationships, it has the power to drastically reduce frustration and emotional strain. In relationships, especially in the workplace, it's common to wear ourselves down with aspects beyond our control, like other people's opinions or behaviors. Stoicism teaches us to invest our energy only in what we can truly control: our own actions, choices, and reactions. To illustrate, imagine a situation where an important project is being criticized by a client. While it may be tempting to focus on frustration with the client or arguments a colleague could have used to defend it, the Stoic approach suggests you concentrate on what's within your reach. This might mean enhancing your own presentation skills, improving communication with the client, or requesting constructive feedback for future adjustments. By focusing on what can be changed, you avoid weariness and direct your energy toward your personal development. Another practical example, think of a situation where you're collaborating with a team and a colleague isn't fulfilling their responsibilities. Instead of investing energy worrying about the other's behavior, a Stoic posture would be to identify what you can do to maintain the quality of your work and, when necessary, express your concern constructively. Focusing on your actions not only conserves your mental health, but also makes you more resilient in the face of external challenges, maintaining balance and objectivity. This habit of focusing on what we control also helps us cope with acceptance, a core Stoic value. It won't always be possible to change a situation, but how we react to it is always within our reach. Accepting life's uncontrollable aspects allows us to develop a calmer and less reactive stance, which improves the quality of relationships. For example, when dealing with a more rigid superior, we may not have control over their attitudes, but we can adjust our posture and improve communication to avoid friction. To apply this principle in daily life, make a list of what is and isn't within your control in each challenging situation. This helps redirect your focus and realize how much you can impact your own well-being by simply changing your focus. By doing this consistently, you'll notice that many daily conflicts and stresses become more manageable, as frustration tends to decrease when we aren't trying to change what's uncontrollable. When we focus on our own actions and let go of what we can't control, we can avoid unnecessary wear and strengthen our ability to act calmly and purposefully. This habit creates a foundation of self-confidence and clarity, which directly reflects in the quality of our interactions and the success of our relationships. Now that we understand the impact of focusing on what's within our control, let's explore the next habit: communicating with intention and clarity, a fundamental practice for avoiding misunderstandings and deepening connections. Habit number 4. Communicating with intention and clarity. Clear and intentional communication is an essential practice for strengthening relationships and building trust. In Stoicism, clarity and sincerity are fundamental values, as confused or vague communication can easily lead to misunderstandings and create barriers in relationships. When we communicate with intention, we become more careful with our words, delivering our message with precision and purpose, which makes understanding easier and avoids emotional strain. Imagine a situation where you need to give difficult feedback to a colleague. Instead of speaking vaguely or evasively, which might confuse or even offend the other person, Stoic practice suggests being clear and direct, while also being respectful. This balance between clarity and empathy creates an open communication environment where the other feels valued and understands your intentions. For example, instead of saying, "You need to improve," a more direct and effective approach would be, "In this project, we need more accuracy in the reports to meet the client's requirements." Intentional communication also involves adapting tone and words according to the context and person. Speaking to a superior, for instance, might call for a more formal and objective approach, while a conversation with a close colleague can be more relaxed and open. Adapting doesn't mean changing the message's content, but adjusting the form so it's received in the most positive and understandable way possible. This kind of communication care prevents misunderstandings and demonstrates respect and consideration for others' perspectives. Another important aspect is mutual confirmation of understanding. Sometimes we think we've been clear, but the listener may interpret the message differently. A simple and effective technique is to ask the other person to repeat what they understood or to rephrase what was said to ensure both are on the same page. This is particularly useful in meetings or important discussions where every detail counts. This practice also reinforces the idea that communication is a two-way street, and that each person is responsible for the final understanding of the conversation. The Stoics also teach us to be economical with words, speaking only what's necessary to convey the message. They believe that too many words can dilute the impact and clarity of what we truly want to say. Practice objectivity by avoiding irrelevant details and focusing on the essence of what needs to be communicated. This not only preserves everyone's time and energy, but also increases communication efficiency, allowing the focus to remain on the main point of the discussion. With the habit of communicating with intention and clarity, your relationships tend to become more harmonious and effective. When we are intentional in our communication, we convey authenticity and confidence, which strengthens trust and reduces the risk of conflict. This habit helps us handle more complex situations maturely and resolutely, facilitating mutual understanding and promoting more balanced interactions. Now that we've discussed the importance of clear and intentional communication, let's move on to the last Stoic habit that complements and strengthens all the others: practicing gratitude and appreciation. Habit number 5. Practicing gratitude and appreciation. Practicing gratitude and appreciation is one of the most powerful habits for strengthening relationships and improving communication. In Stoic philosophy, gratitude is seen as an essential virtue that helps us recognize and appreciate the positive impact of others in our lives. When we express genuine gratitude, we cultivate an environment of support and trust, encouraging cooperation and mutual respect. This habit also helps us focus on the positive aspects of relationships, reducing stress and increasing satisfaction in interactions. In the professional environment, expressing gratitude and appreciation for colleagues' efforts has a multiplier effect. For example, by complimenting a colleague who collaborated on a challenging project, you not only reinforce the bond, but also create an appreciation climate that encourages future collaborations. Recognizing others' work and dedication creates a more positive dynamic, where each person feels valued and motivated to contribute. This kind of communication creates a more harmonious and engaged environment, especially in teams facing constant challenges. Small acts of gratitude, such as directly thanking someone or acknowledging someone's merit in a meeting, can make a big impact. The Stoics believed that recognizing others' value strengthens our relationships and improves our own disposition to face difficulties. It's essential to remember that gratitude doesn't need to be reserved for grand gestures. Small daily thank yous like "Thanks for helping me with that report" or "I appreciate your dedication to this project" can make a difference in the workplace atmosphere. To practice this habit, set aside a moment each day to reflect on something positive that someone did that contributed to your day or work. This can be done mentally or in writing as a gratitude exercise. By making this a regular practice, you'll strengthen your sense of recognition and expand empathy in relationships. This habit also shifts your perspective, helping you handle conflict situations with more balance and patience, as it creates a more positive and receptive mindset. Beyond strengthening bonds, the practice of gratitude and appreciation also improves our communication. When we're accustomed to valuing others, our language becomes more constructive and empathetic, facilitating conflict resolution and building trust. This habit reminds us that each interaction is an opportunity to recognize the value of those around us and build a network of genuine and healthy relationships. With the habit of practicing gratitude, you'll notice that your relationships become more solid and enriching. Gratitude connects us deeply, bringing us closer to others and helping us value their qualities and contributions. This final practice complements all other Stoic habits, creating a cycle of respect, clear communication, and mutual understanding. To conclude, let's briefly review the 5 Stoic habits and how they contribute to a more balanced life and stronger, healthier relationships. Throughout this video, we explored 5 habits inspired by Stoic philosophy that can transform your interactions and strengthen your relationships. We began with attentive and non-judgmental listening, a practice that allows us to genuinely understand others and build a solid foundation of respect. Next, we discussed controlling emotions in conflict situations, a crucial skill for maintaining balance and avoiding impulsive reactions that can strain connections. In the 3rd habit, we learned to focus on what's within our control, which helps reduce frustration and find greater serenity in our relationships. Then, we saw the power of communication with intention and clarity, a habit that enables us to express our ideas directly and respectfully, avoiding misunderstandings and building mutual trust. And lastly, we discussed practicing gratitude and appreciation, a habit that strengthens bonds and creates an environment of support and appreciation. By applying these 5 habits, you'll be better prepared to build more harmonious and balanced relationships, both at work and in personal life. Remember that small changes, when applied consistently, can bring profound transformations. May Stoicism inspire you to live with more purpose, empathy, and understanding in every interaction. Remember, in silence we learn, in wisdom we grow.